Well, hello and good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. I'm Frost PDP, and this is Crusader Kings II. In particular, this is Crusader Kings II, the Historical Immersion Project. And many of you probably going, what's Crusader Kings II? And it's pretty much what it sounds like. You are a ruler, or a vassal, in the year, in this case, 908. A little bit before the Crusades, but certainly within the medieval era. And your job is to rule over a kingdom. And the Historical Immersion Project is a mod for Crusader Kings II, which has been talked about plenty. The place to get it will be probably the Paradox forums, but I'll include a link in the text below the video. And the idea of the Historical Immersion Project is to take Crusader Kings II and all the good history that Paradox Studios did in developing it, and to do the history better, if possible, and to provide gameplay changes that will make the series more enjoyable for players. It's a different take on it. It's grittier, perhaps. It's more historically relevant, and it's for the purposes of immersion. It's in the name. For example, Basilia Romanian. Well, that's the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire. But we know that the Byzantine Empire didn't think of itself as the Byzantine Empire. It thought of itself as the continuation of the Western Roman Empire. In fact, that's why Justinian launched a conquest attempt during his reign, and that led to a lot of this territory being acquired. But we're past that. We're in the year 908. Now, one thing that this project does is it removes some aspects of the game. So, for those of you who've played Crusader Kings 2 before, you know that there's the Rajas of India expansion. Well, there's no India. The Charlemagne expansion, the 769 start date, that's not in here either. The people who made the mod feel that there's just not enough information about that time, and that's their right. But the idea is immersion, and to that end, we come to our character, because Crusader Kings 2 is all about the character you play. The character you play will always be up here. But right now we're looking at him and just what his deal is. He is the Basileus of the Roman Empire. So he's the emperor, and he's a powerful guy. He's married to this lady Sarah, who you might notice she has a tremendous list of titles. Primarily Ravenna, but many other places. You know, Toscana, Marche, Urbino. She's in charge of a lot. And it came to a point where we were declaring little tiny conquest wars against Ravenna, and it wasn't getting anywhere, so we just decided to marry her. And that's one way to get a good claim on a country, is to marry somebody when you have the opportunity. Well, that's what we did. So hopefully, within not too long, Ravenna will be brought into the fold of the Eastern Roman Empire. Will that happen? Well, succession mechanics are a little wonky, so maybe. The answer is maybe. They have a son together. This young guy here, Kaiser Chrysanthos, but, you know, you never know. Maybe he ends up independent. Maybe not. That's something we'll have to see. Meanwhile, we have to look ahead to our heir. Who is going to be our next character? And that's Kaiser Leon. Leon's a pretty powerful guy in his own right. Not quite the mighty character that, you know, Marshal 23, you think that's really good. Well, Marshal 33 is his father, so he's got big shoes to fill. But speaking of shoes to fill and speaking of Marshal, let's look a little bit more at what's going on. We are at war with two folks at the same time. We're at war with Duchess Setenic, who, well, she's in charge of Armenia, this little block over here, and she's actually winning against this. That's what this little -7 means. This is called war score, and while it could be done better, it could be done more like Europa Universalis 4, another Paradox game does it. This -7 means we're losing, but really not losing badly. We're also at war with this guy, Sheikh Rasul, and we are trying to conquer a province called Arua. And as you can see, the war score for that is 86%. We're doing a lot better here. It's clear that in the two-front war, we've chosen to focus on one. And what we are doing right now is a little tactic called carpet sieging. We are laying siege to every territory we possibly can without getting our troops sniped off. So these are our guys. You see we got 4 battalions of around 2,000 men each. And we're just taking over this area. Now, we are at war with this guy. I'm not even going to try to say his name. You can tell we're at war with him because this faint red outline. But as you get closer to our war goal, what we're trying to take over, you can see that line is much more bright. It's clearly telling us what we're fighting over. Same thing up here. We're challenging control of Carry. That is lit up much more brightly than the rest of Armenia is. So what we're going to do is we're going to start time up. And time is a lovely mechanic you can control in Crusader Kings II. You have a date up here. It tells you what day it is. It's a calendar. And when you hit the spacebar, you set that into play. The number of arrows you see here is how fast time is going. So right now time is going very slowly. But if I wanted to, I can make time a lot faster. In other words, I can have things occur more quickly. So, we're the Emperor, we're pretty old. We are 71 years old. I'm just going to let time tick in the background and things happen while we wait. We're 71 years old. We are going to die soon. And that's okay, because then we just start playing as Kaiser Leon. He'll have his own problems to face, but his father's leaving him a very powerful, intact realm. And there are other things you can do while you wait for stuff to happen. You can make the game go quicker, or you can decide maybe you're going to look at your technology options. Well, I can invest in culture advances. Those are pretty useful. So you look through and you see what different things offer you. Oh, feudal vassal. Well, that's usually the number one thing you want to take out of here, because feudal vassal opinion is important. If you can get your positive opinion, and we'll get into opinion a little more later, you get your opinion through technology, you can sacrifice it in other areas, like doing things that make your vassals angry with you. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this technology, because other technologies are kind of growing on their own anyway. That's what this little spinning wheel means. We're getting this on our own anyway. There's also military advances, and there's economy advances. And different players will have different opinions on how this works, how useful this is, what have you. So again, we're back to the character screen. We're pretty good at diplomacy. We're very good at martial. We're decent at stewardship, we're decent at intrigue, and okay, we're kind of dumb. We're not really good at learning. These are all the virtues and character traits that you can have. So our character's strong. It gives you this whole list of things you're good at. +2 martial, +10 fertility, goes on. I'm a formidable fighter, I'm a hunter. This is an old established character who's just getting up there in years. His wife, well, she actually doesn't like me very much. That's what this number here means. It means opinion. And she doesn't like me. And that little ding you heard is, oh, truces are expiring. So that means I can declare war on some guy. Okay, well, he'll probably die quickly. But, oh, my wife is focused on seduction. Well, that might not be so good. Let's make her like us more. How about that? So we're going to send some other events happen. Let's focus on this. We're going to send her a gift. This is a big gift because she has a lot of money coming in. It's not that big compared to what we own, but it's still a big gift. It's going to make her like us by 51 more. The most someone can like you is 100. So that's a good thing. You want to be liked, especially by your wife, who might also want to kill you if you give her a reason to. So we're going to just pay her a bunch of money, and now she likes us. So your wife can kill you easily. She can assassinate you, but you also have vassals. And vassals are the guys, well, let's focus on me for a change. Vassals are guys that serve under you. A lot of my vassals are related to me, like this Nikiforos guy. He's my nephew. He's related to me, that's what the drop of blood means. And he is the stratego of Dalmatia and the stratego of Moesia Prima. I'm not going to say these things right, but you can tell he really likes me. That means he's going to do whatever he can to help me. Whatever I need, up to a point. And when you hover over this little tooltip here, it tells you all the reasons he might or might not like you. So this guy, he's the captain of the Varangian Guard, and that's an actual historical group which guarded the Byzantine Empire, and they're more like a bodyguard group, but in Crusader Kings II they serve as a mercenary company that you can kind of do what you want with. And he doesn't really like me. He doesn't hate me, but he doesn't like me. I'm dishonorable, I've been in power for a short term, even though that makes no sense. and all these different reasons, like being an infidel and a foreigner, that's a big hit. So there are reasons why someone might not like you, and if they really, really don't like you, and you'll notice very few people do, there's one. This person absolutely hates me. Why? Well, he's my rival, I killed his family, I took his money, and a bunch of other stuff. So he hates me, he's probably never gonna like me, and worse, he's the Doe of Bulgaria. That means he's got a decent amount of power if he ever got his act together. Fortunately, he's 8. He's my rival, he's 8, and I'm probably gonna be dead before he's even an adult, and even capable of handling anything to do with me. So, let's focus on what just happened, this event. My lord, we've rounded up everyone we could find. Now, I never saw this in vanilla CK2, but with the Historical Immersion Project, it's a nice little thing. When you conquer a place, you win a siege, you can clamp their leader in irons, and you imprison some guy. Do we care about this guy? Probably not really. You can grab his entire family. You can take no prisoners, which doesn't end well for anyone except maybe you, if you really want them dead. And then these people are useless, leave them be. And the idea is that you can gain or lose traits based on what you do. So if you decide to kill them, well, you're no longer going to be just, because you're just murdering people. You lose that trait. And the trait just is a pretty big one. You could, see, just right here. Monthly piety is important, stewardship's important, learning, all that you lose. Just gone. Or you can say these people are useless, leave them be, and you might even gain the kind trait. But otherwise, you don't lose anything. And that's kind of how I feel. Unless this is an enemy king, it's really not worth doing anything else unless you want prisoners to ransom. But I'm not concerned about money, so I'm not going to do that. And nothing really happened. This is the siege victory screen. It basically just shows you, hey, you won a siege, congratulations. Something that takes a beginner a while to figure out about a Crusader Kings 2 game is like, what's going on with these slashes through a province? That means it's captured. If they're just dots, it means you've only captured part of a province. If it's sliced through all the way, it's telling you you've captured everything you could take. Oh, hold up. Something important just came in. Oh, we won another siege. Hooray, don't care. And now our war score is at 100%. But just before that happened, oh, we got a message of an offer for peace. Alright, well, let's see what he has to say. I gain a bunch of piety, I gain a bunch of prestige, and my religion, which is Orthodox, gets moral authority. That means orthodoxy becomes strong. Crusader Kings is a game largely about religion. It's in the name, Crusader Kings. So, by winning this war, which is a holy war, we get a better moral authority, while his religion, Sunni, loses moral authority. He also loses piety and prestige. And we vassalize lords of my religion and take other titles in the shape of Arusa. Well, that's what we want. We want more land, we want more power, we're going to accept. Hooray, we won. And now for the least fun part of Crusader Kings. We have a whole bunch of these pop-ups that are kind of weird. Well, we have a title we can usurp. And that's the title of this, whatever it is. And it costs a little money and gold, but it gives us prestige, and you have to have a certain amount of control to do it. Well, we want this title because we just took it over. So we're going to usurp it. Now it becomes my title. That's what usurping is. I take something that is yours, and I give it to me. But I don't want to give it to me. This demesne thing, that's a nightmare. You're only allowed to have a certain amount of demesne, or domain is how it's probably appropriately said. And that's how much territory you personally own. Worse, there's some things you can't own. If you're a feudal leader, you can't own cities, and you can't own churches. And that's sort of important because, well, that's a lot of what I just took over. Never mind that I don't want to have nearly this much territory of my own. I don't want anything here for myself. I want this for a vassal. Now I have stuff that doesn't even belong to me. It doesn't even make sense for me to own. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to find somebody who deserves to own this land. And this is what a lot of Crusader Kings is spent doing when you're winning. Finding somebody that deserves to have territory and giving it to them. Well, I have a son who's 11 years old. I can grant him land. He can't rule it on his own yet, and he's a bastard, so maybe I don't want to consider giving him anything. That's what this black drop means. It means he's a bastard. So he's a son, but not from my wife. And I have a 5-year-old son. Well, I don't know if I want to give him anything either. And my son with my newest wife, well, if he goes independent, that doesn't help me. So, probably, I don't really mind giving an 11-year-old son, even if he's a bastard, I don't mind giving him land. I can probably legitimize him at some point, and even if I can't, well, he's my son. He's not likely to cause me trouble. He'll probably retain some kind of loyalty towards his family. And otherwise, he'll be okay. So, yeah, you know what? I can legitimize him. Well, my current wife will not like me. I'm not going to legitimize him right now, but what I will do is I will grant him a landed title. Now, this is a screen that Paradox Studios needs to fix whenever they put out their next patch. Which I think they just put one out, but when they do their next big patch, they need to fix this. I don't want to give away Constantinople. I'm the Eastern Roman Emperor. Why is this up top? I don't know. Why is this window not bigger so I can see instead of just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 territories, but instead maybe 20 territories? I don't know. I want to grant him land, but I want to make sure it's the right land. So I'm going to have to go all the way down to the bottom where I know the stuff I just got in is. But then it's going to start to... These names don't help me. Metropolis I can figure out is a city, but this, well, I don't know what it is. So what you have to do is you have to figure out, okay, well, Catapano is a county, and this area here is called Turbessel. So we're going to go with Turbessel. We're going to find Catapano Turbessel. We're going to include lower titles, and we're going to give to Manuel. It's a territory I hold. It's telling me here this is what I'm giving away. So I'm just going to give it to him. So now he's got a little silver ring around him that makes him a count. And I'm going to have to repeat this process a number of times over just to be done with it. Something to do, something to consider at least, is to figure out which are the best territories you can give. So this has 4 spots. The main, 2, 3, and 4. Well, this is 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I probably want to give this to my guy, too. So go up here, Edessa, include all the lower stuff. So now this kid's going to love me to death. But do I want to give him all of the power in his territory? Probably not. So I'm going to go through what amounts to a charade of finding men who are not in prison, who I don't care if they're married, but who are not rulers. I don't want to make somebody who's already a ruler any stronger. I'm already doing a lot just by making this guy a de facto duke. So I'm going to find people who are my religion, my culture, and who are adults. Then I'm going to organize by a trait that I want them to have. So, alright, well, I don't want to give away my best military guy who doesn't have land, but I'll give away my second best. So I'm going to go to him. I'm going to say, you've served me well. You probably helped me conquer this land. I'm going to give you... Oops. Let's see here. That's Ravendell. So I'm going to grant landed title Catapano Ravendell. Hooray, that's yours. And I still own all of the stuff in here, so I'm going to find a steward. That's a guy who's good with business. And he has a title. Megas Logothetes. Well, I don't care. You're not mine. I don't care. You're going to go to Kaisun. So just find Kaisun. Include the lower titles. Boom. Now he's got all of the power here. So he's a count. He's a count. That guy's already a count. That's actually not part of what I just took anyway. Actually, that's my son. Okay. Well, he's a count. He's a count. He's my bastard son, and I'm going to grant him a viceroyalty. And I'm going to grant him the viceroyalty of Edessa. Viceroyalties are a huge advantage if you have them, and the Eastern Roman Empire does. And I'm going to just drop this on him. Boom, done. Have fun, kid. Figure it out yourself. You're a duke now. You have some vassals. They see how this guy that I just gave territory to, he's a vassal under my son. My son's going to need a regent. That'll happen soon. But yeah, so that's about it. If you guys enjoy this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and let me know how you think about it in the comments. Thank you.